Well, good morning and welcome to Lehigh Gap here outside of the town of Slatington in Pennsylvania. We're down here at the river level, the Lehigh River, and our goal for today is to climb that mountain behind me on the Appalachian Trail going northbound. Now, what's significant about this hike is that this is generally considered the best and most significant rock scramble hike in the entire state. So from river level to the top of the mountain is about 1,000 feet. We'll be doing about 950 feet of elevation on this climb, but we will be doing one section where it's about 0.55 to 0.6 miles where we're going to climb 700 feet. We'll be getting into some class 3 hiking, which means we have to use our hands and our feet to climb. I consider this kind of hiking to be fun, but if you have a fear of heights, I wouldn't recommend it. Also, I wouldn't recommend doing this hike in rainy conditions or in the winter. It's going to be very steep, but it's going to be fun. So let's get over to the parking lot on the other side. I just wanted to get down here by river level and check it out, and we'll begin our hike up the Lehigh Gap northbound. All right, guys, we're here at the main trailhead now. A nice large parking lot, plenty of room for, I'd say, 10, 15, 20 cars. This is a pretty popular hiking area. It's about 6:30 in the morning. It's pretty early. It was supposed to be a beautiful morning, but it doesn't look like it right now. It looks pretty cloudy, so I'm not sure about what happened with the weather. But at any rate, this is the beginning of the trail right behind me. We are going up the mountain, like I said. We're following the white blazes of the Appalachian Trail, climbing 950 feet. Now, once you get to the top of the mountain, you have the option to come back down on another trail called the Winter Trail, which is a bypass to avoid the rock scrambling if the weather's bad or you don't like heights or whatever it may be. But once we get to the top of the mountain, I want to walk a little bit along the ridge and try to get to another overlook I've never been to called the Palmerton Overlook to add a little mileage and variety to the hike. So that's the plan for today. And one more thing before we get started, I need you to hit that like button for me, and then we can begin our hike. And thanks for joining me. I do appreciate you. So the climbing on this hike, it begins right away. There's no break-in period, and we got classic eastern Pennsylvania, very rocky trail. Not really any water sources on this hike either, so it's kind of like a barren environment. I do believe there was a fire that came through here either earlier this year or last year, but you can see some blackening on the trees at the base. So a little bit of like just a scrubby kind of forest through here so far.
And a large wildfire continues to burn on Blue Mountain as well. This is in Northampton County, where officials say it has now spread to 150 acres. Lehigh Township Volunteer Fire Company sharing these pictures on its Facebook page that crews are doing a controlled burn to create a safe barrier to protect nearby homes.
Here's our first decent little window view on the trail. You can see we're above this boulder field and got the Lehigh River out in the distance. This is looking roughly southbound and east. All right, so we just passed by a really steep cliff on our right. Once you pass that steep cliff, that's when the real climbing is going to start beginning. That just gives you a look at basically what we're going to be climbing through. So we just passed our first really nice view, and a couple hikers just passed by me as well. They were having a conversation, so I'm gonna let them get ahead of me. But yeah, this is a popular area because, like I said, there's really no other climb like this in Pennsylvania, and we're getting to the climbing part now. Following the white blazes. There they are. Yeah, so this is really just a lot of fun coming up through here. You got these grasses and stunted birch trees, and look at these rocks you got to navigate. You can see the white blazes, and it just keeps going up. So again, you really want to take your time coming through this section, because first of all, you got to watch every step. You got to watch your balance. And then second of all, every time you complete one of those mini scrambles, you have a view like this behind you. Imagine if it was a sunny day, a beautiful day, how awesome it would look. Now this section here is what I call the wall. It's probably the most technical aspect of the climb here, of the hike. And you do have to use both your hands and your feet to climb up there. And it's actually kind of dangerous coming down this way. So definitely want to take your time here. Luckily there's just enough hand and footholds to work your way up. But if you're afraid of heights, again, this is where you might really start to feel it. Now the one drawback to this hike is the traffic noise you get from the highway below. But I've also noticed too, as we're climbing in elevation, we're getting more wind. But yeah, coming through some hemlock trees here and more rocks. Check out this formation in front of us. Fortunately, there's some graffiti here, so this is a popular area with kids. People gotta ruin things. I don't know what's wrong with them. Yeah, so there is just nothing like this anywhere else in Pennsylvania that I know of. And there's actually more climbing involved than I remember from the last time I was here about 5 years ago. But I actually absolutely love it. This is a spectacular hike. One of my true favorites in all of Pennsylvania. It's pretty awesome just sitting up here. It's still early in the morning. The sun's beginning to come out over that way. And I'm just so happy that I'm finally back out on the trail. I haven't been doing a lot of hiking this summer, but I am setting up for an action-packed lineup for the fall. Adventure after adventure. As a matter of fact, I might tell you about that in a separate video because there's really a lot to talk about. I got great stuff coming up ahead, but this is just so beautiful out here. Truly special. So if you could pick up that white blaze there, the trail kind of goes around through them trees, and then we're on this ridge line, and this, you know, is the point where from this point forward the climbing starts to stop. It becomes a regular hike again. Of course, you could walk all the way up there to the very top point if you like, but the trail continues that way. But very windy up here, but just amazing views and just a beautiful spot here in scenic Pennsylvania. Nature, adventure, discovery. Got a little bit of all that today on the trail, huh? Made in America. God bless the USA. All right. Incredible, unique, one-of-a-kind rock scramble, and we are now heading back into the woods. And based on the trip reports I've read, trail up here gets a little confusing and overgrown, so we'll see about that. Here's the junction with the Blue Winter Trail, and you can see 1.5 miles back to the parking area. That goes that way. At the moment though, I'm going to continue down the AT a bit further and see if we can get to that viewpoint, Palmerton Overlook. I've never been on this particular section of the Appalachian Trail before, but it should be a mostly level ridge walk and similar forest to what we see here. This area has a long history of, basically, there was a plant down in a valley that for generations, for decades, was polluting the environment. And as a matter of fact, the pollution got so bad that at one point, much of this mountain and the mountain across the river was completely defoliated. So there's been projects going on for decades now trying to revegetate the mountain. So it has a little bit of a different feel here than most of the rest of the AT. So I just checked my phone and I'm getting good service up here, but it looks like we may be getting a little band of rain coming in. Now I do have my rain shell in my pack, so if it starts to come down hard enough, I'll put it on. But hopefully it just passes right through. So we're continuing along on top of Kittatinning Ridge, as it's called, or Blue Mountain as some people call it. Just like a really dense fern understory, and I mean such a vibrant color of green. Trail's been pretty good, so for the most part it's beginning to get a little grown in. Looks like some maintenance was done, maybe some weed whacking. It's about 18 inches wide here, and we're just continuing northbound. We're into this stand of scrubby pines now. Looks like maybe like a Virginia pine or something, and it's just barely raining. It's so light you can just barely hear it and feel it, but I think we're yeah, we might be coming to an overlook here. Wow, yeah, look, check this out. Alright, so I've been sitting out here at the vista, just enjoying the view and shooting a time lapse, but I don't know if you can hear it or see it, but it's starting to rain a bit, so I'm going to get back on the trail and continue on. If it starts raining any harder, I'll have to put my rain jacket on. But that's a gorgeous view looking down the ridge, and yeah, I almost like started falling asleep there. I was in the zone, in that zone of peace. It was awesome. We got this enclosure here with looks like it's probably like a deer fence, about an 8-foot fence, and this is all part of the restoration projects. You can see continuing on here, just walking through like a meadow here almost. But yeah, it's really neat up here, really beautiful. Got a great view going out in this direction. Look at that. Rain's coming down a little bit heavier now, and my legs are getting all soaked from dragging against the brush, but I'll take this over the heat of summer. 10 out of 10. I don't mind this at all. No one out here. It's beautiful. We've come to yet another vista, and it's actually getting a little bit misty up in here, like we're almost up into the clouds. So just beautiful out here, raw, quiet, beautiful. Just look at that incredible view of the mist rising right up the mountain through that meadow area we came through. Just gorgeous. And all these purple flowers everywhere up here, providing pops of color. And we're now been walking for about 100, 200 yards along this ridge line with continuous views. It's incredible. Oh man, I'm just so happy right now. I feel so blessed. I gotta tell you, and I said it before on other hikes, this Lehigh Gap area, these hikes, northbound and southbound, out of Lehigh Gap on the AT, this is the best of eastern Pennsylvania, okay? I mean, as far as like mountaintop hiking, views, I mean, you have this, you have Mount Mincy. I mean, there's other great hikes certainly in the eastern part of the state, but there ain't nothing like this. It's amazing. All right, so we've come to this junction with a road running on top of the mountain. AT continues that way, but I think now that we're going to the other side of the mountain, we're going to finally get to that Palmerton view, where I'm going to stop, take a break, and then turn around. All right, well, it looks like we're coming out to another rocky opening now, and I think we've finally reached it. Wow, this is crazy. Look at this view behind me. That is the village of Palmerton, and you know, this is an industrial area, or was at one point, coal mining, manufacturing. Not really all sure what's going on down there, but quite an expansive view here. Imagine being up here at night. I'd love to see what this looks like at night with all the lights of the town. That would be beautiful. All right, so we've just taken a nice long break here at the Palmerton Overlook, and I am super relaxed, and I'd love to take a nap actually. But believe it or not, we've been out on the trail for about almost 4.5 hours. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to retrace my steps back to the original point where the trail split, and I'll resume filming when we get to that point and make the last 1.5 miles down on the blue winter trail, and we'll take it from there. All right, we have made it back to our trail junction. So this is the way we originally came up, but we are going to return going this way on the blue winter trail. So this blue blazed winter trail, same elevation, obviously about 950 feet. The difference between this trail and the one we came up on is this is going to be pretty much mostly in the woods, and it's going to zigzag down the mountain instead of being open and exposed, you know, like the rock scramble was. But it is really, really steep in its own right, and it's kind of rough on the knees. just continuing on here. My knees are absolutely screaming. I just passed a couple other hikers. They were making their way down. They had backpacks on. So, whew, rough. They said they tried going down the way we came up, and with this rain we've had, it was too slippery and they didn't feel comfortable doing it. So they're coming this way, but I don't, this part of the trail I don't like. I'll be honest with you. But it is what it is. Okay, so we have finally made it to a level surface right above the highway here. Is this the best rock scramble hike in Pennsylvania? I would have to say yes. Is it a truly unique, one-of-a-kind hike here in the state? Yes. Do I recommend it? Yes. Is it difficult? Yes. Also, I will say, you can do the basic up the mountain, down the mountain, that's a 3-mile loop, or you can walk out to some of the overlooks on the AT, which I strongly recommend because it gives a good diversity to the hike, and those overlooks are beautiful. I'm hungry, I'm tired, and I'm done. Thanks for joining me on another adventure here in scenic Pennsylvania. I do appreciate you. Please hit that like button. If you have any comments or questions, let me know down below. I'll always get back to you as soon as I can. I thank you and I appreciate you. And until next time, I'll see you on the trail. Gator out.